friends, welcome to the Beaver Dam Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District Board meeting this March 13th, 2024. Opening comments. Well, tonight's meeting, as always, is an open meeting in accordance with New York State open public meeting law. We are live on Zoom and live in the BDL building. There's nobody else here tonight. A lot of people are on outside, probably enjoying the 67-degree evening. But one of the strengths of having technology with us is that you can always go back and look on YouTube and view this. And we'll have a summary, something that we look to do, I would look to do via email after this meeting. The meeting is also being recorded, and like we said, it'll be on YouTube. Do a roll call for quorum tonight. Myself, Christopher Dunn, serving as the chair. Larry Weinberg here. His vice chair, Jason Eunice. He's our secretary. Fred Woodman.
A mere member.
And not to spoil it, but Kevin Boyle is sitting at the table. We are going to make a motion tonight to appoint Kevin again. So welcome back almost. All right, pledge of allegiance, please. All rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I hear a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion has been adopted. The last board meeting was held January 17th of this year. And just to speak quickly about the open meeting law amendment that was effective last year, here's Jason.
All right, let me bring up the documents and then. So the long and short of the document, effective July 1st, 2024. As long as there's majority quorum here at this facility for the public, board members that can be remote are able to vote still, but they do not count for quorum.
So being physical, so we still need a quorum, in a physical way, but anybody that's remote is not counted a quorum, but they would count to any vote that we would carry out.
Correct.
Potentially.
Question, what is considered a quorum since we have those other two members?
Majority.
And the majority of those,
Majority of.
so that would be how many people?
So a majority of what we have on our board.
So officially at this moment, there are 4, so at least 3 of us would have to be here.
If we look at the bylaws, we have a county representative and someone else.
So there used to be the water company,
Right,
and then the county representative. There's no longer the water company.
right,
So the max I think we could ever have here would be 8.
okay,
So if
so 4 is the board.
So if
5.
Commissioner Denega wanted to come, we have 7 here, he would make 8, and that's the most that we could possibly have,
So what is considered a quorum
a majority of available members.
of available members? Is that 5 or is it 4?
Yeah, because the main board is the 7 spots.
Okay. So we're
Yeah.
talking 4-member majority.
Correct,
Okay,
correct. Yeah.
Unless there's empty spots.
Right. For sake of it, if 2 of you resigned, God forbid, it would now become 3,
okay.
so, well. Yes, 2. Sorry, I'm counting. I'm putting the cart before the horse. All right, sorry, everybody. I hope that didn't put you to sleep. Sorry, Eileen. I know you're driving. Probably just, hopefully you turned off. All right, so,
That's okay.
oh, she's still there. Hey. Wow.
from the burn ban,
Wow.
in those 2 months. So please exercise, there are limited things that are allowed. You are allowed a tiny little fire at your.
Sure, and
pit,
your
but-
chimney and all that.
Yeah, so,
It doesn't mean you can't do your backyard.
right, so 3/16 to 5/16 burn ban.
Okay, so 3 more days until the burn ban begins. All right, Reserve One, Shore Drive sinkhole. March 11th, Town of Cornwall was scheduled to begin the excavation and repair of the stormwater pipe under the street. That has not begun. They didn't say it was definitely gonna begin that day. If you remember, we had 40-mile-an-hour gusts that day, and the highway department most likely was dealing with trees and weather and chasing garbage cans.
I checked it before coming here and the hole looked filled.
Yeah, I think that's a
It's a
temporary,
temporary fix,
but the street is still marked
the
out for digging.
blacktop plant opens on April 1st, and that's when the
Oh.
final will be done, so I talked to Tim about that.
There you go, okay. So that means we still have 2 more weeks?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, quick dam update, and these are just some things that haven't been spoken about at a meeting in a little bit, and it's just prudent that we mention it.
1 second,
Sure.
we were muted for a second and I think they missed the last part of the.
All right, a little
911.
technical difficulty, all right, so what do we need to just mention again, the call 911?
The 911, did you guys hear the open meeting law?
Christina, your mic is open.
No, okay, long and short of the open meeting law is that you need a majority quorum in the building, but you are allowed to have a voting for one of the members that are through extraneous circumstances.
Right.
Are allowed to vote remotely over Zoom.
Right, we had mentioned that if you're in the building, you're only counted a quorum, but right, it's like your vote will count if you're remote or in the building, but. Okay, we're good, Mike's good,
Good, if there's emergency at the reserves, call 911.
okay, all right,
Now we're back.
okay, before we continue, we should probably do some business here with our board itself. We wanted to start, we want to, of course, fill all our spots available. Mr. Boyle has been here for. He's Kevin. I've seen his face scrunch up when we call him doctor, so I get it. But Dr. Boyle has been here for 9 years and he wants to make it 10. So we're happy to have him back. So we can appoint him up until the election. So it's actually not even a full year, speaking to the commissioner, and that might be a little discrepancy that we've all missed in the past.
Oh.
But when you're appointed, you're actually appointed to the election day, not the end of December.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's a whole other reason that's not important right now for
Can
that.
you only be appointed one time?
So, no, I believe it's unlimited, but we have never come to that as far as I know. I was appointed twice. So, all right, let's keep this moving. All right, so, do we have a motion, to appoint Kevin Boyle?
So moved.
Second,
Second,
sorry.
we're all.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Woo.
All right, Kevin,
Thank you.
welcome back, welcome back.
Masochist.
We should have asked him if he wanted to.
Yeah,
He kind of just showed up. I kind of asked him to show up. All right, so let's move down this like as quickly as we can, because a lot of these are just basic emails and such. All right, dam update is not authorized in any way for residents to approach the dam on foot. There's no public reserve parkland near the dam. All approaches to the dam are private. It is also not recommended to approach the dam by a boat as well. Please abide by all warning buoys and keep a safe distance from the spillway, especially after rain. I had been asking after rain because of course, if the lake has risen, the pull near the spillway is gonna be greater, and there are warning buoys there. And I was kind of asking around, because it slipped my mind as to how far the buoys
100
were.
feet.
We kind of, it was 100, it's 100 feet, so 100 feet from the dam, the spillway, you're gonna see buoys, so please abide by that, and everybody will stay safe. DPW's next inspection will not be until midsummer. And the reason for that is that they want to do it when it's calm, the spillway is virtually dry, hopefully, and that they can check for cracks and things like that, so. Landscaping contract, Anthony Mangano, the business Mugnano will be given a another year extension and also the point of continuing to trim the spillway banks before the contract had ended at the end of this month is kind of moot now because he is renewed for the rest of this year. So we'll be in contact with them because one of the requirements for the safety of the dam is that the areas adjacent to the spillway stay trimmed just so that there's no woody stem structures that would encumber the dam eventually. So that's a requirement of our landscaper to keep those banks trimmed. Okay, Swim Beach update. Okay, this is meant to be a discussion. We're at that point of.
Okay, sounds good. So,
So let me just introduce. So we're at that point of the year where we have to re-up, see if we want to pay our lifeguards the same, if we're gonna, what the salary needs to be, the DPW needs to know this. And let's just kind of have a brief open discussion on our lifeguards. Last year, the starting salary for the first year without water safety instruction was $17 an hour, and we had raised it $1 just to meet the area's average. So, and for us to be competitive, because we only had 4 guards last year and we could use some more. So go ahead, Larry.
yeah, so, certainly last year was, interesting to say the least with the water challenges that we had many times with the beach opening and closing with HABs and all that beyond our control. But, we felt it prudent that we would, offer to go up, $1 an hour.
Jack should have his pajamas on.
Somebody's open on there. Somebody need to mute. We got it.
Jason's got it.
Okay, so, through the discussion that we've had, we felt that going up to, $18 an hour to start for our starting lifeguards would be the right thing to do. Thank you to, one of our residents, Tara B. She had given us a contact with the Washingtonville school team, and Chris done us a service to follow up with the swim coach there. And we do have a little bit of a foot in the door right now, so hopefully we'll be able to get the motion rolling. And if that all goes in the proper manner, then we'll be lucky enough to, secure enough lifeguards to open in a very timely manner.
Anybody have anything else to say about it?
No, not really.
So, and just another side note to this is that the sooner we get this to the DPW, the sooner that we're allowed to hire. And the sooner we're allowed to hire, the sooner we can open. So if we can possibly open much early, if the weather suffices, we could maybe Memorial Day.
Right, so everybody always has to understand that the majority of the lifeguards that we're pulling are either high school or people who may be returning from college. Hence the reason it's hard for us to open at a precise date when Memorial Day and be ready unless we get out ahead of the curve. So in the past, we're trying to get a lifeguard company to take over for us. It would be a lot easier to manage. Wasn't successful, but this year we're out ahead of it. So hopefully we'll have the staff ready and we'll get as close to Memorial Day as possible.
Yeah, and it's been a nice thing to have that possible feeder. And we haven't even been able to reach out to Cornwall yet, if they even have guards themselves, but just being able to speak to Washingtonville was nice, and they're enthusiastic. They even have lifeguards. Coach Frisbee had mentioned they have 100 guards. And I think at least 40 of them are 16 and above, and about half of them are open water or waterfront. So, and he actually is a lifeguard trainer himself. So part of the reason for this was that asking them with the Seahawks program and varsity swim was that there'd be a feeder to, if anybody else wants to guard, he would hold more classes. So this could be a fruitful partnership.
We'll give him a part-time job.
So maybe we should hire, maybe we should hire, Coach Frisbee. All right. So is there a motion to raise the base salary to $18 per hour for the year 1 lifeguards and then through the salary scale? So just to over explain it, it's $18 for first year, then you get 60 cents if you're a first year with WSI, Water Safety Instruction. And then year two, it's like 60 cents more. There's a scale that the DPW puts out. It's not something that we put out. So we are voting on the year one base and then it works up. If you're a 5-year senior, I believe it's $2,150. But that means you're in college and you're a full adult and you've been doing it for quite a while. So that's one of the reasons why. So all in favor, is there a motion to raise the base salary from $17 to $18 by $1?
Yes, motion.
All right, is there a second? All in favor? Okay, all right, so moved that we will change that and get that off to DPW. And we can start hiring lifeguards. All right. All right, quick emails here. We were just trying to, through talking with AJ Reyes, our lake management company, limnologist or lake scientist. There are potentially in the future greater needs as we start to uncover more, whether it's pollution in the tributaries or in lake loading or ways to mitigate it. Some of the things that we do right now are technically inexpensive. To keep putting a Band-Aid on it, algae and for putting treatments into the lake, in the grand scheme of it, is affordable. It's affordable, but it's not optimal. We don't want to keep spending money to put chemicals in the lake and tell people not to swim for 12 hours or 24 hours, whatever the label tells us. And we want to stop the flow coming in to the lake itself. Like we want the tributaries to, be healthy for us. So there might be eventually equipment, buffers, there could be aerators, of course, put into the lake. There would be flow rate monitors. The flow rate monitors could be $5,000 to $10,000, $20,000. So what I'm getting at is that there's grants out there. So it could get quite expensive. There's a lot of DEC grants that are available. They're not open yet. They're considered water protection grants. And if you just were to go on any DEC, if you go on the DEC site for New York State, that there's a lot available. So just speaking to a couple grant writing offices, so to speak, there's a group that's been around since 1967. It's a small office of 3. Many people knew about this. I did not know about this being an Orange County resident, but where is it? It's the Soil and Water, Orange County. I'm losing the name. Do you guys see it?
Orange County Soil and Water.
Sorry, Orange County Soil and Water. Where is it?
Conservation District.
Conservation District, there it is, because there's a couple boards and districts that are in my brain tonight, so I'm forgetting the name. But we had reached out to them just to see if they would give any help, not necessarily write a grant for us, but to give us some tips. And they're pretty much there for agricultural needs. But they said that they would certainly speak to us. This board has dealt with them in the past. I think over 14, 15 years ago, they've helped out with a few other projects in the area. And so if anybody, and I know we have a couple lawyers that are residents, and anybody that has any experience with grant writing, please reach out to the board, because that's something that would take some time and planning, see what grants that we want to apply for. Some of the big ones are not open at the moment. They open up late spring into the summer. So just if you know anybody that would like to help, please email the board. Okay. All right. On to an email about PFAS. So going back about 3 or 4 meetings ago, it was asked if the Air National Guard or the Department of Defense was or had been testing for PFAS, because there was a project, of course, after it was identified that Stewart Airport, the Air National Guard base, had fire retardant spray that put out a large fire in 1989 or 91, and they finally realized that a lot of the watershed after the airport has PFAS in it. And so this is the email I got back from Justin Starr from the DEC, who is a liaison to Stewart Restoration Advisory Board. That was the board that was in my mind before. Thank you for reaching out with your inquiry about recent testing of Beaver Dam Lake in New Windsor. The lake has indeed been recently sampled by the Air National Guard in connection with their remedial investigation at Stewart Air National Guard Base. Preliminary results of the first round of sampling were shown to the public at a recent meeting. The meeting was in October. And those meetings are held at the Newburgh Armory. There will be a meeting coming up in April, by the way. The attached figure shows, and if Jason could share it, just so everybody could see what we're speaking about. So there's a map and shows sampling locations in the immediate vicinity of the lake with several additional samples taken further upstream in the Beaver Dam Lake tributaries. So there's one near the dam, down near the bottom, and that in yellow. Next lake.
All the way down to-
There you go. Yeah, with a little one. Yeah, So- we're sharing, right?
Yes.
So the bottom yellow, that's near the dam, so that's one of the points. Jason's trying to blow it up for us, thank you. So that's near the dam, that was one of the sampling locations, and if you go to the north, up near Beaver Brook, and where it comes into the lake, the main tributary, that was a sampling location. Then if we continue to look to the north and head towards Jackson and Lake, there's another crossing there. I think that's hard to see, but I think that's the Jackson and Lake crossing most likely, which is one of our sampling locations at that bridge culvert. And then if you go continuing north again, almost where you're near Amazon and Little Britain School, there's actually two more right there, the yellow ones on 207, that they directly affect us. Now, all the others may or may not temporarily, depending on the watershed and how it's flowing at the moment. But as you can see, these sampling points, and if you could pull away, so so Jason's kind of just showing that all the different points that are going around the airport, and there's a grid that shows preliminary ranges that they're in. So the best range to be in would be the darkest gray. So that is the below 4, which is the new EPA federal standard. It used to be 7. And they've lowered the standards, and had a good discussion with Commissioner Yanega about this the other day, that, the EPA was expected to lower these standards. And it's kind of a misunderstood, or not a misunderstood. It's like it's something that's not known enough. Fred has spoken about PFAS and PFOAs before, being that forever chemical, but it's the reason why our lake is catch and release. It's the reason why Brown's Pond, I believe you could fish there, but I think you have to have a limited permit. That's catch and release. Silver Stream is catch and release. So you don't want to be eating any fish from these bodies of water anywhere in New Windsor, especially south and east of the airport.
So was those from one incident, or they've been training where?
So I believe it was one incident, right?
One major incident with a burning a FedEx plane that was on fire, and they did,
Was like 35 years ago.
yeah, it was quite a while ago. Back in the 1980 or something like that.
Right.
But this whole PFAS thing has been fairly recent as far as realizing the severity of it. But, and that leads to what I was gonna ask, because they've done all this testing. Is there going to be a data availability of what was found that's gonna be published or something?
Yes, in April. So the body that is in charge of liaisoning, is the way we are to the district and the residents, the Stewart Restoration Advisory Committee, which was formed as by law in 2020. They're gonna have a meeting at the Armory in April, so they have them quarterly. So they're gonna give specific results to these plots that we saw on the map to find out, because the plots on our map are a range of greater than 4 up to 100.
Right.
Now, is that,
That's a terrible number. So
Right.
but it seems to be that the numbers will be in the single digits, but I'm not gonna.
With the new EPA limits, lower limits, how is this going to affect people that have had their wells tested? In the past, you probably can't answer this, but,
I mean, that's what the meeting is for.
yeah.
So I think when folks who are concerned about it go there, I think it would make sense if one of us were to go. I'm interested in going. The date and the time has not been
All right.
released, but I will let you know, and I will send a district email. I'll send them to you, Fred. So you'll definitely get an email about that. But this gentleman, Justin Starr at the DEC, was just passing that on. So, yeah, so, and, you know, it's a super fund site, which means it's unlimited funds by law until this is done.
Mhm.
So if it takes 50 years, money is gonna continue to go to remediating this one event. And that's what a super fund is. So, it's a big deal. So this is gonna stay around for a long time, and I think our knowledge about any of this is in its infancy. Yeah, so.
Yeah, this one is a circle site, it's CERCLA, and,
Yep,
it's a federally funded thing, it's simple as that, it's not state.
okay, all right, changing topics, something else that we've been speaking about, a lot of this is cleaning up a lot of loose ends that we've had over the last few months. As you've heard, we have a DEC, grant that we've had for invasive species that was originally issued in 2017, and then the lake was drained for the dam, and then we got it extended, and so Mr. Woodman's doing a lot of the groundwork, all the groundwork right now, trying to get all of our receipts put together so that we can be reimbursed. And it's anything that that our district spends money on to combat or research invasive species, whether it's plants, invasive animals, anything that has to do would be admissible to the grant. So, and then there is a rate where we get it, a kickback, like based
It
on.
was 52%, but apparently it may have gone up.
Yeah, so stay tuned. It was kind of re-explained to me by the department, the finance department, which was kind of good that.
That was Tammy, right?
Yeah, Tammy had mentioned, and I had a puzzled look on my face in front of the commissioner that that it's not fit, it's so and if anybody here that's a CPA, would, probably could explain this. Apparently, there's a rate, and we're supposed to get back what that percentage rate is, but there's also a matching portion. So the matching portion is supposed to pick up what that initial rate doesn't give us back.
I thought the rate was based on matching.
Yeah, it was explained to me that there's a second matching, so.
Confusing.
So, yes,
Cumulative will be 66% instead of the 52.
Yeah,
So it's a win for us.
yeah, but then she mentioned another 33% that had to do with matching. Whom is matching it? I don't know if it's state, if it's from the grant itself. That's we don't know.
For us.
But things are looking good. There's still a lot of work to do. And I know you had a question also about
We'll talk about
the
that.
end of it, okay. So, yeah, anyway, so the email was from Vicky Wagenbach for DEC regarding the next steps. So things are looking good. We had a meeting about it, and it seems like we're headed in the right direction with it, but we just have to do the reports. Email on 3/5/24, residents requesting input for the DPW meeting, which was on Monday, the 11th. Nobody reached out. Then also on the 5th, there was an email to the town of Cornwall about the sinkhole, which we had mentioned. A quick reply back from the highway super and the mayor, Wojciechowski, that the crews would be coming out. Once the markouts were done, the earliest of the work could have begun would have been this past Monday. Larry mentioned that after speaking to Tim McCarty, that I guess the asphalt is not.
4/1, they opened the plant.
Makes sense, because it's still cold, right? So, all right. Next, all right, so major takeaways from the meeting that we had on 3/11. Larry and I. So,
Outside.
oh, apparently there's children outside, okay, I thought we were.
We heard something.
We heard kids giggling or something, they must be peeking in the window on us. All right, so on the 11th, the meeting with DPW Commissioner Eric Denega and Deputy Commissioner and also Director of Project Management Ryan McGuire at the DPW. Larry and I attended. Major takeaways, the commissioner would like a written justification for GEI to provide a quote. So GEI is our lake health company. Quote for services over the next 12 months following the close of the current contract. So the contract doesn't end until July. And he wanted to weigh out whether or not we should continue with a commissioner's discretion of another year or put out a full RFP bid, because one of the things that we were hoping for even last summer and even the year before that was to get a 3-year contract, a multi-year contract, so we can have a company really take over the management and the testing and, you know, get the maximum out of it. So, a clear path was set forth. This is the second point, takeaway. Another takeaway was that a clear path was set forth to complete the DEC invasive species grant on time. So we had just mentioned that. But we did learn, and this is what was explained to me. This is kind of circling back to that grant. So we learned that there is a 60-day window after the close of the invoice submission period for the grant to ensure enough time to submit the final report. So the final report or the grant closes on July 9th. So after July 9th, a 60-day period will ensue, and that is for us to come up with a written summary narrative of what we have put together and just a quick justification. Fred's looking at me like,
No,
so,
it's basically, this is not building a bridge.
yeah,
We are basically getting treatments done on the lake. So we can put a list together, but the payments are all made by the county.
Mhm.
So literally, all we can do is indicate the dates, and they have to do this, authorization that, yes, it was paid and it was paid. This is where it gets confusing, but that's all doable.
Right.
It's all doable. So, I've already sent a summary to Vicky
Mhm.
about what has been done so far and what is projected to be done. So we all have to sit down based on the meeting that you two guys had, which I would have loved to have been to, is to find out just what exactly the process
Mhm.
is,
Mhm.
getting authorization, getting approval.
Certainly, and that was explained, by Tammy and Vicky. So Vicky at the DEC and Tammy. So if anybody picks up on as to why Mr. Woodman is frustrated, because he's been for so long in trying to put this together and get us moving in a direction where they're accepting everything that he's been putting together on the list.
There's been a runaround because no one seems to understand who the authority is in the county, in the DPW, to do the work based on invoices that they have paid to send to the DEC. We've had 3 different people saying, oh, I can handle that. And now it's finally saying, no, nobody can do it. It's back to us again.
Yeah, and this grant preceded most of us on the board.
Mhm.
I think Kevin was around when Chairman Rossini brought it in, but the dam, and then it kind of, so it's a different set of personnel that are picking up on something that was set in place. It's a good grant.
Sure, and it's doable.
It's doable, it's a good grant, but we were kind of not just teaching ourselves, but Fred really doing the homework to find out, because some of the people that were at the DEC offices at the time when the grant was set up, they're no longer there. And the current grant officer is, in my opinion, being very nice and saying those quarterly reports that were supposed to have been done all along
Not necessary.
are not necessary. And they just want one final report.
Yeah,
So.
You know, it's different if we were building a bridge and they wanna know how each phase is
each
doing.
phase of
We're
the-
just getting treatments made to the lake.
Okay, third thing, the dying sick tree, situation, so there's been a tree that's on Reserve 2, quite large. It's right in between the boat line, pictures were given to the commissioner. It's not a completely dead tree, there are dead limbs. The tree crew for the DPW is going to come out and take a look at it and kind of decide if it's a full removal or if it's, if it could be pruned down. So that was something. And then also Reserve 6 is a different situation. I know Jason's witnessed it, Larry's witnessed, I think we probably all witnessed it. There's a tree that's on private property, but its limbs are over Reserve 6, which is in the corner of the northern corner of the lake. And in the past, some dead limbs have come down, took a boat out, you said, right? Just- Yeah, so, and the owner has been resistant to,
Illegally prune it.
yeah, so,
Because on the property, you can do.
yeah, right, so Kevin's mentioning, like Commissioner Denaga said, no, I mean, you can laser line cut it too, that's another thing. So whatever's hanging over our fence,
Right.
over the county property fence can be taken. So that's something that,
Before the whole tree comes down anyway.
Before the whole-
It is DED dead.
yeah, it's super
Big.
Yeah, so that's definitely a liability that needs to be taken care of. All right. Let's see, we already brought another dollar into the salary schedule, so an updated lifeguard salary schedule needs to be submitted to DPW in order, so that was something from the meeting that we spoke about just 2 days ago, so that has been taken care of. We will send that back to them, tonight, tomorrow, and we'll be able to hire our lifeguards. And the last, so BDL board, and this is going back to a meeting I attended with, Walter Blows back in December with the DPW. He had requested that the DPW, would post on the website, or at least provide to us the, recent budget. And because if you go on the website, I think our most recent budget that's published on the website is, I think it's 2019. So that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
old.
Now, that doesn't mean our budget is not published, so it's just not published on our site. If you go to the finance page of the Orange County, you can dig and find Beaver Dam Lake.
We should have a link to the website, because then we won't need to update it.
And that's exactly what was mentioned, that was exactly what was mentioned at the meeting, with Larry and Eric the other day. So, yeah, that was it, but in the interim, they said, what do you have that you can send us? So our current budget, we have the document, I think, I might have said that to the webnet, did you see that? Because we did a bunch of web.
You asked me a
updates.
few things, which I did get updated, but that was not one of them.
Okay, all
But
right,
if you sent the file that I've been working on, I actually updated it to include that file that was in there, so there's a longer stretch of
Okay.
history saved to it.
okay, yeah. Yeah, and that's been one of our goals, especially Jason, to get the website completely up to date in real time, I would think, and then not have.
They're pretty quick to update it.
Yeah, they've been good. All right, and we already spoke about the landscaping contract. That was another email. So, all right, moving on to lake health treatments. Treatment permits have been issued by the DEC for our lake treatment, pond and lake connection, so we're good there. That's our treatment company that comes around with the airboat, puts in, whether it's herbicide, algicide, at intermittent points, hopefully not too many times this, spring and summer, but they have we have our New York State license and permits in for those treatments. The original, preliminary talks for a lake visit by James Gorman, who is he's the applicator for Pond and Lake Connection, is in April. So a lot of things happen typically in April. With this early spring, we definitely want to get things rolling, but it seems to be April is when a lot of things open up. All right, moving on to CSLAP for 2024. Fred and Jason, do you have any updates
just been notified by Nancy that, the containers for the sampling are already being assembled and will be going out shortly. Still nothing as far as, final reports on last year's sampling. You have something to add?
Yes, there's a link to the CSLAP website, so once the reports are up, you'll be able
Right.
to get them. But currently, you'll be able to look up the prior year's ones, which I think there were 2017 might have been the last time it was posted on the website.
And I've got,
Now you go directly to the CSLAP
Right, I
website
have
for all the data.
printout of the last one that was presented. So, basically, with the addition of our captain here for, future testing, it'll be business as usual come this summer, starting in June.
So June, expect June to be the first testing.
Yes, normally the beginning of June, you can expect the samples, so they do June through September, through the beginning of September.
And are we still doing 8? Because I know
Still
there's a
doing
shift
8.
at some point. They're
We're
gonna-
still doing 8. They asked if some lakes wanted to reduce it to 4. I sort of got back to Nancy by saying, no, we're gonna stay with 8. I think it was a cost saving thing on their part. But, so as far as I'm concerned, it's business as usual.
Well, I'd like to propose a 9th one, because Nancy also sent out another email for a volunteer for an
Oh,
additional
yeah,
sampling
okay.
Well,
after the 4th of July to see if there's any effects from people shooting off fireworks.
So
Okay.
we'd have to determine where to take those samples.
what's
Which I'm
that,
sure, but we need to be able to respond to her by April 1st.
Yeah,
what's that called? The substance that's left behind?
it's a perchlorate. Perchlorate is used as the
Chlorate.
accelerant.
Okay,
For the, to get the thing up in the air. And the perchlorate's like anything else, it's an oxidizer, strong oxidizer.
so what are the risks,
The risk,
potential risks?
anytime you put an oxidizer in the lake, if it can affect the plant life and even the fish.
Okay,
Might affect the pH.
I don't know.
right, and done at the right or wrong time, it could make the blooms go wild or.
What we can
affect the
do is,
fish.
if that's of interest, they wanna include us, because it's not definite that we would be included.
Mhm.
Pick an area where we detect the most activity for fireworks.
So this is purely a volunteer thing, like, so one of us is doing a bottle sample, is that what this is?
There's not much details on it saying that who would like to volunteer.
So if we're interested, then they're gonna tell us how we do it.
If we get selected. Cause I think a lot of this is based on.
So we like this, right? We wanna do
Public
this.
displays, major displays along a lake.
Right.
I don't, but, you don't try, you don't get.
So like a good one to test would be Cornwall to do like in the village.
Yes.
Their pond that's right in the middle, because that's
Right.
just raining down, they have.
And the same thing with Monroe, they do
Yeah.
a big one right by, the pond,
there.
Goose Pond.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll respond to Nancy.
I'm good.
I'm for it. I don't think we need to vote on it, right? I mean, it's just.
We'll do it.
Well, the CSAP
Are
volunteers,
you gonna respond to her?
I can respond. I'm happy to go out.
Go ahead.
Kevin,
I'm sorry?
would you be available?
Right after the 4th of July?
Right after 4th of
I'm
July?
gonna be away.
If not, then
It's hard to say.
I still have my vote. Maybe we can. Wally.
We can.
I mean, where are you gonna sample? You gotta, is it?
You
right in
could-
the middle
We don't know
or-
the-
Yeah, like, is it the middle of the lake? Is it on the
Middle,
shore?
Middle, whether it's the
Okay.
usual routine.
I'd suggest any place where you see somebody doing a lot of
I'll
fireworks.
be in the canoe with a libation or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, I could go, depending on what it is, I could go on my kayak if needed.
Don't get that on record. Coca-Cola.
Okay, all right, so CSLAP, it's gonna be off the ground, it's good stuff, and it's a state-run program, it's very successful. All right, back to just mentioning again, lake testing, apologize if the order of this is a little wonky, I tried doing something different with the emails. So, I think next time I'll just put the emails back in the topics, I wanted to
Start
put all.
putting this stuff together, when kids are playing dodgeball.
This is, if we could step out for a second, I'm a teacher. I work in Westchester County, I live in Orange County, I'm a PE teacher, I've been an athletic director, so I'm quite capable, but I tell people all the time, I was drafted. I enjoy doing this for everyone, but this has a shelf life at some point. I have a child and I will not be making agendas for the next 10 years. So just we know that. So sorry, you're gonna miss this soon, but anyway. Lake testing GEI, the contract had begun on July 15th of 23. It expires the 14th of this, July 14th of this year, sorry. The work completed so far, as mentioned, there's been sampling for phosphorus, nitrogen, and E. coli. The samples were taken August 23rd, September 24th, and November 7th. The results were presented at a DEC 2023 meeting. December. I've read DEC. My mind is on DEC. So in the December 23 meeting, that's when we put all the values on the screen. But if you go back to that meeting, you'll get all on YouTube. Now the sampling maps have been provided. I did put it here on the agenda. Yeah, that's what I was speaking about, Jason. That's something that we could show at another. So that map that we showed about PFAS, we have a similar plot map that plots out all the sampling locations and the values that we got. And this is all once again through GEI and the program that we have with them. New testing schedule will be created soon for this spring and summer. Also the bathymetry that was taken in the fall. I, with my own eyes, have seen the preliminary map. It was not completed. There was a couple plot points that I think were a little off and they weren't happy with. But the resolution looks really good. I honestly thought for this meeting, we'd be able to put it up on the screen and see the brand new bathymetry. But DPW is also really interested in it because every time we mention it, they want to know that it's going to be on the website because they would like to have it too. It's a useful tool. So it's a map of the depth of the lake and
Yeah, they said they wanted to go out with a boat and complete the incomplete data before they posted it, right? Before they give us a final.
yeah, there's a couple fixes there. There was a plant survey, no surprises. Most of our plants are invasive. There's not a whole lot of native.
Question, is there, going back to the issue of the grant, is there any way that GEI can itemize the cost of that particular portion? Because we could probably put that towards the grant.
I don't see why not. I would think we probably had that slated already. I just don't think that was, because I know you've been researching the 2017, 18.
And then you were
19.
saying now 16, which is surprising, but we will talk about that later.
Yeah, we may even be able to go back another year, which is good. So if we're able to go back another year, that means we could maximize the grant.
Yeah, I've
So
already looked at that information from Solitude as far as what we could charge.
that would be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. Then we'd fully 100% would utilize the grant. And that's really what we'd like. But to Fred's point, yeah, I'll talk to AJ about that. About itemizing. All right, we already spoke about the 1 year versus multi-year. This is all justification for new contracts in the future. But the high phosphorus concentrations, the sampling of E. coli alone, there's a need to continue to check all the other small tributary streams. So outside of the 6 or 7 locations that we've tested, there are still probably another 6+ of the small locations that come in under roads. They're mostly stormwater runoff pipes. Seasonal streams, yeah, and I feel like the last 10 months has been, I think we've had almost 50 inches of rain in the last 12 months, 50. So this lake has not been at spillway level.
Last year, we were praying for rain.
And then it happened and it hasn't stopped. So there's a lot of effluent coming in. Okay, so DEC grant invasive species, so we already mentioned all that. We're gonna go all the way down to external sewer municipality. There's nothing in the municipality to mention. I don't have anything. There's nothing new with the sewers. Please, the only thing I can mention is if you see like a manhole overflowing in heavy rain, call the sewer department of the town you're in. That's something that needs to be addressed. if any of the red lights are on any of the pump houses, we've mentioned that before, call the number on the building. And they will come out. They should know about it anyway, because they have an alarm system that tells them if there's something
New
wrong.
Windsor's cleaning the drains, yeah?
Sorry?
New Windsor was cleaning the drains to recently.
That's something that I didn't, were they, or, so, okay, so yeah, so what Kevin's mentioning is that the excavator that was sitting on Reserve 8, that was out in the email, they were doing the roadside culvert, so these are the ditches alongside lake. And if sometimes towns will do that, highway departments will do that every few years, go around with an excavator shovel and kind of scoop out the leaf debris and just to get those culverts where they can hold the most water. So, there was a new Windsor shovel that was sitting on Reserve 8. So yes, New Windsor and the county are on top of that right now. All right, reserves. Anybody want to take reserves, in Orange County property? Only because anybody just wanna,
I don't
so,
know if you just wanted to
so US,
jump into the goose management.
yeah, go ahead, because I know you.
Yeah, so, we have, an active, thing going on from the Stewart Airport, as far as, New York Air National Guard and
Civil Air Patrol.
Civil Air Patrol to make sure there's no bird strikes at the airport,
Right,
so
right.
we do have the benefit of having the.
Is there anything we have to do as far as applying or reassigning?
No.
It's automatic.
They just come.
So
Okay.
thanks to Erica, I literally took her narrative from a year ago
Mhm.
and put it right here. So
Yeah, so,
someone please read it.
Yeah, all right, so the goal was to reduce the Canadian goose population, and, they're an invasive species, they create a health hazard in our area, and there's also a safety issue for, vehicles and aircraft. Program began in 2012, costs nothing for our lake or for any of our taxpayers at all, it's funded by the New York Air National Guard.
There we go.
And again, we're actively involved with the gentleman who does that, I do contact him, I do end up, having him talk with me about specifics, about where there are more, potential sightings of, multiple geese or where there are nests. So, I believe it was Tyler, from the USDA. So, I mean, I've been working on this for a couple of years. So it's been a regular thing that we've been doing. It'll actively continue just the same. So, I don't have too much prepared for this because we've gone over this a number of times in the past, but it doesn't cost us anything. And if you have a problem in your yard or you have, an issue, all you have to do is reach out to the board or myself and I'll direct Tyler to you. You'll sign off on allowing him and the agency to come onto your property. They'll either remove geese or they'll oil eggs in your property. We were able to have a very, very successful year last year. And we cut down the population huge. Now in 2021, when we're looking, there was no lake, so certainly there wasn't a lot of geese. So the point is that we did have a very nice cut down of last year versus the previous year. And he said we probably couldn't have done any better than we did.
Go ahead, Fred, sorry.
No, I just had a thought that I have seen when going around with C-SLAP, with Jason and, Kevin, that some properties have these spinners and things that supposedly prevent the geese from coming up on the shore. Is this, and I'm saying that,
Like a windmill sort of thing?
no,
There were like
almost like a
a CD
spinner.
or like a.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Piece of
keep-
tinsel.
Yep.
And
They eventually get used to it.
being that Molly takes her grandchildren down to Reserve 2 quite often, the amount of goose excrement is quite huge down there. Is it at all possible that maybe we need county approval for this? To do some kind of brainstorming to maybe put something like that along Reserve 2? To kind of prevent. it
Tyler,
coming
I
out.
was gonna say, you probably talked there.
In detail, that geese generally know one thing, and that's lethal force. So he said, look, I'm sorry, it's the facts, is that they'll figure out what we're doing eventually, and it's not gonna bother them. And the only thing they know is when something happens, and a couple of their friends disappeared. So he explained it to me in that, he said, it's just the way it is.
All right,
Lethal
okay.
force.
Just a thought.
They're
Yeah.
persistent
But
creatures.
what if we timed it with the pickups? Because I know you can tie a string at their chest level and it's gonna confuse them and they won't walk.
They don't come onto my property.
Until their flight
And there's
wings
something
come
that can
in.
be done.
Right.
So it works for a few weeks or?
I had nobody on my lawn for
I shoot a
4
laser
weeks.
at it.
Wow.
And
Oh,
it scares them away, but then they'll eventually get used to that too. But if we can
But
coincide it
two
with when
weeks
they're
is
picking,
the
so we can
complete
get
sewer.
them in an area that we want them to be picked up. Maybe we could get it.
I was gonna propose, I was gonna ask a board member to kind of take some of this. It sounds like Larry.
Oh, yeah.
See, and this just shows you from all the little things that the board does as, in a 365, days a year. There are so many little things, like I remember you speaking about this even before I had been on the board, but I didn't realize that you knew the person that is from, and he's from the USDA?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah.
Very specific schedule. I know how to get in touch with him. I know how to give him a problem when there's a problem. I send him people's information. He'll send them a form to get permission to go onto their property and do it. We're in great shape in that. We have no, other than for them to continue what they're doing, we need no improvements. So we're really in great shape.
Would you mind readying like an email in the coming weeks, months, just to have?
Sure.
Yeah, just so we have that.
So I'll get with him and I'll ask him
Perfect.
when we're gonna start up again, and I usually do every year. I say, hey, is it
Sounds good.
time?
Good.
And I'll even reference what I had in the past, it'll be the same basic script, be the same basic thing.
Good.
So, if we're gonna just shift into some community events really quickly.
Absolutely, let's do it.
So, past events, we did, our Beaver Dam Lake food drive, very successful. We did opt to not do it during the busy holiday season this year, for a variety of reasons. We had elections, we had a whole bunch of things going on. So we, shifted into a time when the food banks and the food pantries are at their highest need because of the depletion, that the holiday brings. We did focus more on funds this year versus pure food. The food pantry can buy substantially more sustainable and quality food that they need with money. Because you and I go out and we pay retail price, and the food pantries can buy through the food bank, who has leverage and great pricing. We were able to get $1,400 donated, which was an immensely large amount, way more than I expected, with 2 very generous donors and a number of other smaller donors throughout. So thank you so much. I don't know that the generous donors want to be named, so I haven't done so, but almost $1,400, which is a big credit. Today, we received a letter of thanks from the Country Kids Food Pantry. This is a local food drive. The food is here in our area, and for people in need, they welcome those to come down to Father Tierney Circle, right near the Brotherhood Winery. Okay, we do have the book club that still goes on. It is organized by Leah Matthews. They read a book once a month, and they do generally meet or congregate at the building. They did go to Zoom and a couple of other people's houses during the winter months. I'll get with her and we'll figure out where the next meeting is gonna be, but we will have a book club meeting next week. I'm not actively involved in that. Leah does a great job with that. If you're interested, you can reach out to me or Leah. As far as future events go, we do have the Beaver Dam Lake Easter egg hunt and rabbit visit. The Easter bunny will be coming to reserve number 4, that's 557 Shore Drive, and that will be on 3:30 Saturday, 3:30 Saturday. That is March 30th, okay? It's from noon to 3, 12 noon till 3 p.m. We'll have crafts, games. Thanks to Rachel Zanni, she's really been spearheading it, and thank you to those who have generously donated eggs and candy. We are in a pretty good spot right now. We did have one resident who's going to be stuffing 500 eggs at her home and bringing them. So that should put us pretty much where we need, but don't be afraid if you'd like to volunteer and be part of a craft, do a game, or do something down here, we'd love to have you. It is all in a sense of sparking a great community and having people get to know your neighbors. Take a look at the A-frame signs that are constantly put throughout the neighborhoods. They are actively changed on a regular basis. And sometimes we may throw a little bit of a zinger in there to see if anybody's paying attention. So far, nobody's come to me with anything on the signs that didn't really make a lot of sense. It's all in fun. It's nothing offensive. So, we have a lot of irons in the fire for community events, a lot of stuff. We actually now have a May 10th comedy show. So May 10th at 7:30 PM, we have a professional comedy coming in. He's got people he's gonna bring, and we're gonna get you more of the details, but the board has approved that we're gonna do it 7:30 PM. It'll be here, and if it's successful, we'll continue with that. We're also looking at an Earth Day event.
Family centered.
Family friendly, yes. If we should choose to go in a different direction in the future, we can all discuss that, but it's open to everybody, so we gotta keep it family friendly. Okay, so Earth Day, as far as cleanups, if you've noticed, there is a ton of debris all around the lake and reserves from blowing around. We've had high winds, people's garbage pails being knocked over. Man, I can't stand the trash. And I will go out and I'll do it myself if I have to, but I really would love to get people together. So on April 20th and 21st, we'd like to have a little bit of a community day where we can come together. We'll get some garbage bags, people go to reserves, we'll bring the trash back here to our pickup area at reserve number 8, and the county will come and pick that up. And you know, we'll make that be part of our regular garbage pickup. This should be fine. So I'm not gonna talk about all the other things because as a board, we haven't agreed on everything, but trust me, we have a lot of things in the work. Our Music by the Lake series will probably continue. We have a class with Cecilia Jewelry by Cecilia that we were gonna hold here in the building. That is a repeat class because so many people have asked for it again. That's coming up in only a couple of weeks. I believe that was April 1st. So I just want to be 100% sure that we're all on board with that. But Cecilia's got all her supplies ready and she's ready to do that class. So for now, that's all, but stay tuned for more.
Yep, and we can certainly reach out with any email that we put forth, okay?
Great, yeah, anything you send to the board and, you know, if you can want to contact me directly, I'm completely good with it. But if you want to send something to the board, then, you know, we'll end up getting that email over to me. Okay, thank you.
All right, resident forum, first board member comments, and then we'll hold a brief session for residents. Jason?
To build off of Earth Day, can we put garbage cans with lids and chains so they don't blow away at the reserves that don't have them yet?
We have a whole lot of garbage cans here.
Easy
Right.
enough. Sure,
Right.
don't we have them all?
So what you're proposing, we just post them around, so we're,
Post them at the reserve signs. Because then if anybody's at the reserves or the walkers.
And I know they're at reserve too, and they're chained.
And 8.
Reserve 2 and 8 and here. But the other ones don't.
so are these, so here, I'm thinking about in terms of like, so are we gonna bag them, or are they meant to be? Because it's gonna be random garbage, whatever they find, like whatever's picked anywhere, it could be bottles,
Yeah.
cans, plastic. So it's gonna be trash, it has to go,
Trash.
okay, so,
What other reserves do we need them at? We talking about just number 3?
1, 3, 5, 6, 7. No, there's nobody goes to 7.
I don't think you need one on reserve 6.
now we can take a look at it, I don't see why not, we have the
We can do
cans.
it, I mean, I'm all for it, but
Yeah,
I don't-
definitely someone's gonna have more traffic than others, but if people are walking around, they have a place to put it now. Rather than seeing the trash just blow everywhere.
We're talking about on the roadside. Not down into the reserve near the lake or something like that,
Yeah, more by
more by the road, yeah.
at the reserves signs, because if you can chain it to them.
So maybe some signage or something to get people to know that what this is for, or we'll tell everybody the week before, day before, night before, it'll be here. Come volunteer your time, fill the cans up, something like
Not
that.
like pans there on a regular basis.
Oh, see, okay,
Permanent
I
We're
misunderstood.
talking regular
Well,
permanent, in which case. that's
yeah, I mean,
probably-
we do have cans there. I mean, Tom Lark that's part of his job, is he changes the bags and pulls them. I mean,
Yes, so can we put the ones that don't have any cans yet? Sure.
we could, I just don't.
One,
They needed.
so you just wanna have them out earlier than usual?
He's saying add them to all the reserves.
He's
All
saying
reserves.
add them.
add,
Okay.
not
Additional,
all the reserves have them.
I
Are we
mean,
finding garbage at the reserves that don't have them?
Trash blows everywhere.
Well,
People don't have
blows,
lids on their
but-
cans,
Yeah,
and trash ends up there.
Oh, I
They
see
have a
what you
place
mean.
to
Well,
put the
okay.
trash, then
They may do it.
they may do it.
Oh, there's many times there's trash right next to the can, so on the floor, on the ground.
It gives the people the chance, the opportunity to help clean up.
They will do
Sounds like a plausible idea. Sounds like maybe
Easy
you just
enough.
gotta, yeah,
I'll put it on top of this thing.
Easy enough.
yeah, we'll confer with Mr. Lark. Anybody else?
Good to be back.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
We haven't seen you.
Good to have you.
Yard waste pickup. So people get ready for your yard waste pickup. I'm still been working with Cornwall Town to try to get the pickup of the bins reinstated. I've been diligently working on this. I don't know if I have progress or not. I asked for an update for this meeting. I was told I'm still working on it. I'll let you know. I don't have any progress report right now in the Chestnut Avenue Park. We did see a new path that was put in there right around the beginning of winter, and I was promised that there would be more action taken. I haven't followed up with that. Now that we're coming out of the winter thaw, we should hopefully see some action from the town of New Windsor Parks Department on that.
What is the schedule, or have you obtained the schedule for when Cornwall will start the waste pickup again?
It's gonna be in the first week in April.
First week in
I keep asking, but I haven't gotten that completely dialed in. I've talked to
Okay.
Beaver, but before I get public and put something out there, I wanna be sure that and if they're gonna reinstitute the cans, which I doubt, but I've really been trying very, very hard. I would love to get that back into play, so. That's about it. I just wanted to add those in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Just one thing I have, we've mentioned that on Lake Road, that New Windsor was gonna be doing that, the drain culverts. If you notice on your streets that your culverts are getting, especially the people that have moved into the area recently, may not realize, the history of Beaver Dam Lake is that it's a series of hills, and there are stormwater runoffs that run through properties, around houses, under houses, everything makes it into the lake. Make sure the culverts are clear, because, it's not that much of it's not as big of a deal now that it's not freezing and winter seems to be on its heels. But, during the winter months, especially when those ditches are filled, that just creates ice situations, bottoms of driveways, especially with some of the hill driveways. Finding trash that blows around stuck in those pipes can easily be prevented. So we just had a trash day on a windy day. Please just go and check the culvert right in front of your house. Because there have been times just walking around, I've seen entire styrofoam boxes lodged in, from Omaha Steaks. And that's not coming out for a while, let alone orange.
Ever.
Yeah, ever, right? It's gonna clog it up. It's gonna clog it up, and then a critter is gonna move in and get washed out at some point. So, please just, pay attention to that. And you can also call, the superintendent of highways, in your town, and have them take a look at it too. It's also an issue. Because any of these culverts that back up will impede the road, cause potentially sinkholes down the road, as we have seen at Reserve 1. And Reserve 1, that sinkhole was caused by one of the under street culvert pipes. So it's an old pipe, and probably the pipe failed, and it's just old, but erosion is preventable in some places. So just don't let the trash build up. Okay. Okay.
The community.
Doesn't seem to be any questions. Anybody wanna mute and have a question?
Well, this is your opportunity. Going once.
So the jewelry class with Cecilia is on April 4th at 6:30 PM, April 4th. We'll get the sign out there to everybody soon. Just don't wanna get too far out ahead of the Easter egg hunt and bunny ride, so.
Did you just get a text? Oh,
I knew it.
I was like, he just downloaded it. And
I knew it was at the beginning of April, but Christina let me know it was on the 4th.
to anybody that's watching, I don't know about you guys, it's a bit rough that there's nobody in these chairs. So since COVID, the world is so different. And it used to be nice as a resident. I know that it's a nice night. So please, we're gonna try to let's come up with something to get some
Let's do it outside.
people
I
in
mean, we
the
have cookies here.
Yeah.
Come get cookies.
pizza wings, Like, what do we need to bring here? Yeah, there are cookies, that's right, yeah, so, but it would be nice if we had some guests, we had some friends here.
Rachel raising her hand or flashing her
So-
hand?
Too convenient.
No,
You got a question, Rachel?
No,
Yeah.
but pizza sounds good. I was just concerned with the garbage cans on Lakewood Drive, right up the road here, Shore. That corner where they all have to bring their garbage cans down and they just load them up there and they let them ride.
Oh, those private garbage cans that get brought down the private road and, okay.
Oh my God, there's always garbage everywhere there. It's really terrible. I don't know if you guys can talk to them or something. I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah, they need a corral.
Yes.
They need
It's
an
horrible.
corral, is what they need.
It gets worse and worse as the summer months come. It starts to smell. It's terrible.
Good point.
Just
Okay.
wanted to bring that up. But good job, guys.
Thank
Thank you for all you do.
How can you not know your garbage pan was missing?
Well, if you live a quarter mile down the street, it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't know. I mean, mine blew away and a neighbor of mine has it and I can't prove it anymore, but. Anyway, I haven't told her either. Alright, okay, with that, I think we're out of here. Motion to adjourn?
So,
Alright.
second.
All in favor? All right,
Great.
thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us. Have a good night.
Good night.